And now let's set today's lineup card, sponsored by Blunt Partnership. The SEC basketball tournament is in full swing, and we're going to the whistle blows. It's the University of Tennessee Sports Report, sponsored by the Cherokee Group and the Klein Dental Arts SEC Notebook, with volunteer football coaching legend Ray Trail, Daily Times sports editor Troy Provo-Heron, and veteran sports writer Marcus Fitzsimmons. The Goatee Sports Page panel will put a wrap on Tennessee regular season basketball and catch you up on the SEC basketball tournament. Carson Newman assistant football coach Tony Iruli will be on board. Donnie Moore will announce high school scores from around the area, and then Mark It Down with Marcus Fitzsimmons, sponsored by Mandy B. Street Realty. Features William Blunt Governor Baseball. Head coach Justin Young will be in the house. The Anderson Lumber Company High School Player of the Week segment will be on the docket. Heritage High School Mountaineer softball will be in the limelight. Coach Jeff Sherman will make a Goatee Sports Page appearance. Donnie Moore and the panel discuss sports headlines from around the country before the Tennessee Smoky Spotlight shines on Lady Vol basketball and the SEC men's basketball tournament. And finally, we'll wrap up today's show with Clayton Bradley Academy basketball coach Sean Mubarak, who will be with us. And now it's time for the UT Sports Report, sponsored by the Cherokee Group and the Klein Dental Arts SEC Notebook, featuring former UT assistant football coach Ray Trail, Daily Times sports editor Troy Provo-Heron, Marcus Fitzsimmons, longtime sports writer, and Carson Newman, assistant football coach Tony Iruli, is with us. Coach Trail, yesterday Tennessee exited the SEC tournament by losing to Missouri 79-71. And before we get to that game, I really thought that Tennessee had a good draw for the tournament. I really did, because that lower bracket had Auburn, Arkansas, Texas A&M, Kentucky, and Vanderbilt. And that upper bracket, they were looking really at Missouri and Alabama, as far as I know Alabama looked like the team that they were going to end up playing. In fact, I had everything ready to preview the Alabama-Tennessee game today, which is in the garbage can right now. But I thought they were set up pretty good to make a run in the tournament, the way the draw went, huh?
I thought they was in a good place, and I agree with you. I thought it was going to go down to Tennessee and Alabama to play, but I tell you what, I have to give it to Missouri and I have to give it to Texas A&M. They made me change my mind about team play, and so I think they got the best four that they could have in the final.
Yeah.
I really do.
And you talk about the coaching and the team play and the teams coming together. You look at Missouri; they got everything going for them right now. And they played well. And then Texas A&M yesterday came from 13 down to be a good Arkansas team that had everything in control in that game up until the second half. And then Vanderbilt last night, they've won 10 out of their last 11 games. And if they don't pick them in the SEC or in the national tournament, NCAA tournament, it'll be a travesty now with the way they have finished. Marcus, great basketball game yesterday between Tennessee and Missouri. It could have really gone either way. It was a well-played game, not a whole lot of turnovers. Both teams played well offensively, and it went down to the last 2 minutes of the game. And the best way I can explain it is Tennessee blinked and Missouri didn't. They hit a couple of big threes, and by golly, that was it, huh?
That really was. And, they traded punches the entire game.
Yeah.
Figuratively. They, nobody pulled away. Tennessee had, 5 turnovers in the first 3 or 4 minutes? Should have been down by like 5 or 6, maybe 10 at that point. But weren't. It was 6-6. I mean, it became, you're going to hit a 3? Well, guess what? I can go to the corner and hit a 3 too.
Yeah.
If you're going to post up in the lane, I'm going to post your guard up in the lane. It was just whatever you can do, I can do the same thing. And just, Tennessee had no answer when they came off the screen and hit that step-back 3 from 33, 35 feet out. Tennessee didn't have an answer for that one.
Tony, I thought with the game on the line right there in the last couple of minutes and Missouri had the ball, I'm thinking, hey, they're going to go to Kobe Brown right here. Kobe Brown's the guy. He's got over 20 points. They can't handle him on the inside. He's beat us up on the inside. He's the go-to guy. He's either going to take it in there, he's going to get fouled possibly or hit it. And those guys just stepped back like it was a day at the office and said, hey, I'm going to throw up a couple of 35-footers here and put an exclamation mark on it, huh? It was unbelievable.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, it was, if you look at it, Tennessee just before halftime makes that half-court shot to give them a lead. Then they jumped out against Missouri early in the second half, and all the momentum was going. And it just seemed like the last 2 minutes where, hey, the game is on the line, where you've got to really put your foot on the accelerator. Missouri did, and Tennessee did not.
And Coach Trail, it goes back a little bit to what we've talked to before, because Tennessee's been in this situation down the stretch where the game's been on the line, and it's that, who do you go to?
Yeah.
Who's our go-to guy when we got to have the buckets and it's still not showing up, is it?
Nope. In that game, really, Tennessee had two players that could score.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed to me like the rest of them were just fillers. I mean, it was either you went to Vescovi or
Kobe. You're talking about Tennessee.
Yeah. And we just got so limited on what we could do, and with all the players at Tennessee, you would think that we would have some big dominant player inside. We didn't have it.
Yeah.
We couldn't match up with that guy.
Yeah,
Right.
Marcus, you made a point of this before we got on the air. I think it was a really good point that when you talk about a go-to guy, you never know who that go-to guy is going to be with Tennessee, because you never know who's got the hand when the game's on the line. But it appeared to be that Key had the hand. He hit the 2 threes, and you thought, maybe this is going to be the guy.
He hit back-to-back, and I thought he was on, and I thought they went away from him too soon. And maybe that was intentional. Maybe it was kind of the foul situation at that point in time. But, they went to, in the clutch moment, they went to James, and it didn't work. He missed, and Tennessee didn't find their footing, and Missouri went back down, hit another 3, and they were down 6 with a minute to go, and that was it. But, you go back to when Missouri beat them in the regular season, which was following that last-second buzzer beater at Vanderbilt. Tennessee has not looked like they were comfortable closing out a close game since that buzzer beater to Vanderbilt. They haven't looked confident at the foul line in the last 2 minutes. They haven't looked like they were comfortable with what they wanted to do with the ball. And up until that point, they were one of the most confident teams closing out a game in the country. Mm-hmm. If they were within 3 or 4 points, they had no doubt that they could come back and beat you. Yeah. But now they were playing like, even with the 4-point lead, they weren't sure they could protect it.
Yeah. Well, they've lost 4 out of the last 6.
Yeah. Well, Tony,
you look at it, and they've really not looked. I think they didn't look good the last half of the season.
Well, ever since they got that number 2 ranking, it's been a slow
downhill.
It all started back when I thought, hey, this could be really one of the best teams that Barnes ever had over there. After they beat Texas, it's really kind of gone to the downside.
Well, is that a case of maybe they were overachieving the first half of the season to get that number 2 ranking, or have they? This is really the Tennessee team that they have. I mean, of course, the injuries that they've had to deal with is a big factor.
So many things play into it. It's a long season. You play a lot of games, and typically Barnes's teams here, and I guess probably at Texas too, they get out of the gate strong.
Yeah.
They get out of the gate, and they schedule pretty heavy there early, because they know how important it is to play big games as far as your RPI ranking and getting in the NCAA tournament. So if you win those games early, and that's the best time to catch a lot of these teams. You get your team up to win early, and you get these other teams to where they're not really where they're supposed to be at that point, and you get them on that resume, you see. Yeah. And now that's kind of where they're at. They're going to go before the NCAA committee on Sunday, and that committee's going to have to decide, well, are we going to go with Tennessee because of who they beat? Because most of those teams were early in the year that they beat. Of course, they did have the Texas and the Alabama, they're at home, and they did have some decent wins. Or are we going to go on, hey, they've lost, 4 out of 6. They've lost Zakai Ziegler. They're on the downturn. Do we move them down? Maybe to a 4 seed or whatever. Yeah. I don't know.
When you compare it against a Missouri that has beaten them twice.
Yeah.
The last 2 times on Tennessee's home court, and in the SEC. I mean,
I guess what I'm trying to say is it just looks like another year, and of course it could all change in the NCAA tournament, but just looks like another year of a Coach Barnes type dilemma, where you've played well, you've won a lot of big games, but there you are.
Can't finish.
You can't finish.
Yeah,
you can't finish a game, and you can't finish a season, you know.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know, I hope that's not the case. I hope they can regroup. Marcus, I want to ask you, there's been a lot of talk about the effect of Zakai Ziegler, you know, losing him. I don't know how big a factor that is. I mean, I know it's been played, but, you know, they really weren't playing all that well down the stretch with him. I know that on the offensive end, you know, he gives that penetration ability and the ability to kick off, and he does a lot of deals. He can hit free throws at the end of the game. He's going to give you the good defensive effort. I'm not taking any of that aside. But this basketball team plays Waller ball, and when Waller ball is you don't have any transition game, and you go down just like they played yesterday, and you set up every possession, and the game's going to be close. You know, you're going to have to go to the liquor cabinet in the last 2 minutes because the game's going to be on the line because that's the way they play. It's kind of the old Ray Mears deal.
Yeah.
We're going to play you right down to the end, and then we're going to go to free throw line, win the game, and it makes a nervous wreck out of everybody. But how big a factor is it without him being out there and the style of play that they have?
Well, I think there were two things that struck me yesterday in the loss. One, Missouri ran out on Tennessee, and it was something we saw in the final game of the regular season a couple times. Ziegler stopped those transition baskets. He is a quick guy. He's fast enough that he's aware, has the court presence to be aware. Nobody's getting behind him on that outlet pass. And that happened. Missouri was able to do that repeatedly yesterday. The other one, he just gives that lift offensively that not even what he can do, because I think except for the penetration, they can make up for all the other skills between the other guys. But what he really does is he wears those guys out defending him because he's so small, he's so hard to defend, and he's quick. He worries that defender to death, and that has an effect on him on the other end as well. Because we talk a lot about Tennessee wearing themselves out defensively, but if you're not wearing yourself out defensively, stopping him, he's going to go to the hoop and burn you time after time after time until you stop him.
Yeah. Coach Trail, I want to talk a little bit about Missouri's coach, Dennis Gates. You know, they were having some trouble at Missouri before they brought him in here.
Yeah.
They'd gone through a few coaches there, and it just hadn't worked out. But I'm really impressed with this guy. I mean, he's got his team under control. They play with a lot of discipline. They don't make very many mistakes. They take good shots. I tell you, he's done a tremendous job. And, of course, that program out there at Missouri has always had great tradition. Norm Stewart was there. And
by the way, I am wearing my Missouri
I
shirt, so I don't want to. Ray's about to get me.
Nothing like rubbing a little salt in the wound there.
I noticed you didn't pull the jacket off until Ray was already on the
other side. So you're between us.
Yeah.
So if he comes after me, all right, duck.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
so I'm the blocking force?
Yes, there you go.
I thought you were a better coach than that.
Yeah. The coach trailed Dennis Gates, won the game yesterday, and by golly, I guess he was taking everybody out to supper because, they raised him, I think, another $1 million and extended his contract. But
it's amazing how that
looks
happens.
like the players, really have a lot of camaraderie, and I'm impressed with that program and what he's done in a very short period of time.
Oh, yeah, that's his first year.
Yeah.
I mean, all these players there before he got there, or did he recruit them?
Missouri's
what?
The average age of the Missouri roster yesterday was just over 21 years old.
So it's old, yeah.
There are a lot of graduate transfers. There are a lot of
It's a mix.
a lot of experienced guys in there that were there.
But for him to be able to bring a lot of those different players from different programs, it makes him into something successful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great credit on his coaching ability.
Well, he did a very good job putting together the kind of team he wanted with what was available and getting the most out of them so far.
Well, he did a heck of a job. I mean, it really. Sure. And for one thing I like about him is that he doesn't ever seem to get very excited. I mean,
they didn't look like the 10th ranked team yesterday, because that was where they were picked, was to finish 10th.
Yeah.
And I mean, he just kind of stands over there and watches very seldom.
Yeah.
He's not a hoorah guy, you know. He's not up and down and
Yeah.
grabbing and
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
He's a very calm guy.
He's enjoying the game. He's just sitting there enjoying
Yeah,
it.
he just looks like he's
Got great
watching.
tickets.
He's watching the game.
Good sideline tickets, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you know, every great team has got to have somebody to center around, and Kobe Brown's that guy, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's the guy. You know, he got 24 points yet. But what really impresses me about him, he was 9 for 13 from the field, but my gosh, he was 50% from 3-point range, 6'8", 3 for 6.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, this guy's he's a lottery pick for the pros. I mean, inside, outside, strong, and
Has he been at Missouri the whole time, or is he a transfer, or what?
We'll have to look that up real quick. I'm not really sure because I only got back into Missouri until like last night.
Yeah.
So no, like we mentioned earlier, you know, the coach comes in here. He's been here only 1 year. He has a lot of guys transferred in, and his ability to bring everyone together and form them into a good team, a team that's very competitive, and they play with a lot of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look by the reactions of their fans, I mean, they're excited about, you know, first of all, being in the semifinals going against Alabama today. But you know, it's a good moment for Missouri, which really hasn't had very many good moments in a while.
No. They shot 52.6% from the field yesterday, and that's going to win you a lot of basketball games. But Marcus Vescovy 17 points for Tennessee, Key 16, Meshack 14, Kumwa 11, Phillips 10. 5 guys in double figures and didn't get the job done. Almost unbelievable to an extent.
Yeah, no. I mean, they showed that they had the ability to score, but it still feels like they're trying to figure out who it's going to be. You know, because it was, you know, Key had a couple of, well, call them key moments, but, you know, and you saw some putbacks and you saw some of this, you saw some good things, but it was never, especially in the crunch situations at the very end, nobody wanted the ball.
That's right. That's exactly
nobody
right.
wanted to be the guy at that point, and they were all looking at each other like, is it going to be you? Is it going to be me? What are we going to do? They didn't have that confidence that whoever took it was going to do it. They were kind of looking like, who's going to do it?
Yeah.
So there was a downside to it. That's one of those things I think Ziegler gave them was he decided who was going to get the ball.
Right.
And you were going to get it and do it or not, but there was no hesitation in it.
What's left on the track record really for this team now, Coach Trell, is they didn't get an SEC regular season title, no tournament championship repeat. Now all that's left is a deep run in the tournament, and then all the young guys. Troy's not here, but if Troy was here, Troy'd say, "Well, it's all down to the run in the tournament. That's all that counts is that run. That's what they remember you for is that run in the tournament." Well, you know, us old school guys, we're like, well, they remember you for winning championships, son. You know,
right.
not runs and championships. Well, they're down to a run in the NCAA tournament. Coach, Coach Trail, I
What
don't
seed do you
know.
think? What seed do you think they'll end up being?
I think that based
6?
on what's happened,
Yeah.
and the fact that they got beat yesterday by Missouri and they're on the downswing. I know Lenardi's got them as a 3 seed, based on their total work deal, and maybe that's what they should look at is the total deal.
But it's not the same team compared to the first half of the season. The
No,
second half.
Zakai's out.
Yeah.
You're obviously not having the run like these other teams, like A&M and Missouri and Vanderbilt. These teams are. I mean, these teams are hot.
They are hot.
They're hot when it's time to be hot,
Right.
and Tennessee's not. So I think, now this is my own opinion, I think they're looking at a 4.
Out of 4.
I think they'd be lucky to get a 4.
I think they could drop farther than that depending
do.
what happens today. I think there's some chances depending on what you see happen with some of those tournament finals and how some of those projected seeds do as to where Tennessee ends up being. And I don't think it matters so much as, Tennessee's biggest struggle with the Barnes team is getting past the first round. And against a good mid-major team, that's Tennessee's bugaboo. I mean, if you get somebody that can get out there and just shoot the lights out, happy that they're in the tournament and not care, that negates a lot of Tennessee's strength in that defensive pressure, and that's what Tennessee always hates running into.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the year. The year's not over, but the regular season's over and the tournament's over, so, we can talk a little bit about this. The regular season has been an adventure for this Tennessee basketball team. They had to overcome injuries. Seldom have they had a full roster. They had some huge wins against ranked teams, had some bad losses against subpar teams, played great at home, not so great on the road, shot the ball well on some nights, but not so well on most nights, won some close games, lost some heartbreaker games, didn't turn the ball over very much, had no transition game, played great defense, especially at home, a team that was consistent with inconsistencies, pretty much. So all that being said, I'll start with you, Coach Trail. What grade would you give this team right now for the year?
I couldn't go above a C.
And I didn't put this in here. They were picked to finish third in the league, and they finished fifth in the regular season.
I think a C would do.
Yeah.
They're not a B, but I don't think they're a D. I think they're a C, right in the middle, and capable of being a good team, but not knowing what you're going to get.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt. I agree with you. I think the talent's there,
Yeah.
and on any given night, they can beat any given team. We just don't know.
I tell you what, when you get in the tournament, to me, you better have a good offense.
Yeah.
I know he preaches defense, but you better be able to put the ball in the hole when you get in the tournament, because you're going to have people going up and down that floor, and you just, I thought the game before this that he helped himself a little bit where he went to some zone.
Ole Miss, that's a good point.
Yeah,
4 minutes.
Yeah.
4 minutes of zone, and won the game.
And won the game. And won the game.
Mixed it up a little bit.
And I thought, mixing his defense up helped him in that game. I mean, it took him a while to adjust. They'd been driving. Then he went to the zone and made them start shooting outside. They wasn't driving and getting to the basket.
Yeah.
And I thought that helped him a whole lot. And I was looking for him to do that against Missouri some, but he never did.
Yeah.
And
I think Missouri's shooting was why they never did that, because they're so much better from the outside that they didn't want to fall back on them.
Yeah, I tell you what, the range that Missouri had on the outside against the zone would have really extended that zone. Let's put it that way, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, those three-point shots. I mean, they were back another 5-6 feet away. I mean,
yeah. Hey, Marcus, your grade.
I'm in the B to B plus range, and that's being that this team has shown that it's got the capability to be an A, because more than likely come Sunday, whatever their seed is, they're going to have wins over 4 of the top 8 seeds already. So to me, that says you can play with anybody out there and you can play up to anybody else's game. But at the same time, that inconsistency, you can lose to a D. So I'm just going to kind of split the difference and call them a B or B plus and somewhere in there, because I think they've shown how good they could be. It's just getting them to continually show them to play that well.
Well, when you get beat twice by Missouri, and I mean that's who'd ever thought that? I disagree with you. I had them early. I would have agreed with you, A and B, but from the mid-range on down, they hadn't looked like no A, B to me. They looked very, very beatable, and playing just kind of average ball. I didn't see anything super to them at all.
They're beatable in the fact that they don't have any transition game, Coach.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
They're going to play that man-to-man defense, and they're going to try to
slow you down,
get them to play your tempo, and then they're going to come down and work the clock on you on the offensive end.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be anything in there in transition at all unless you get a steal or something
Well,
like that. There's no transition game with this team, so every game – I don't care who you play, is going to be close.
Yeah.
The way they play. It's
I mean,
just-
Well, the grade
go
for,
ahead.
you're asking a grade for the season.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about the tournament.
exactly. That's
we're talking
right.
about the grade for
That's
the
right.
season. So you can't ignore how good they were in December and January if you're grading
Okay.
for the season.
Right.
But if you're grading for their chances in the tournament, that's something different.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you said if they're a 4 seed, that means they're in the top 16 teams in the country, aren't you? I don't think they're a top 16 team right now.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking they're going to be probably a 5 or 6.
Yeah.
But
And you say that, but at the same time, if they were playing Kansas, do you discredit them that they can't beat Kansas again?
no, that's it. You just don't know what you're going to get. That's why in my grade I'd give them like a C+
Yeah.
between you two because they're kind of because of the injuries and everything they've had to deal with them.
I think Kansas, since you brought Kansas up, I think Kansas when we played them and Kansas now are two
they're
different.
Two different
teams.
things.
I think it's two different.
They start off on the low end of things, and now they've
Now
got
they've
it all
gelled.
turned
Yeah.
around.
Well, that's the way when you play 32 games or 30-something games.
Yeah.
That first is making your team.
yeah.
That
Right.
first.
You're
50
feeling
Yeah,
everything
finding
out.
out about yourself and what works.
You're
Yeah.
trying different.
And-
you're trying different things and putting them in, taking them out.
And as we said, Barnes is a little different. He's already found his group. He
Yeah.
already got his group together, and it's pretty well stayed that way all year. And he gets you right out of the gate, where
Yeah.
everybody else is trying to feel themselves around, and he gets those games, and he's been very successful the last
Yeah.
several years
Yeah.
doing that. Tony, you're great.
I was going to give them a C+ because it's just the what they've had to go through this season, injuries, ups and downs of the season. Plus, it is for really you don't know what you're going to get each game. You can get a B type of team or a C type of team, and so I think that they're going to be it depends who they're going to match up. And I thought Marcus is correct. If they go against a top C coming from one of those mid-major schools, they could possibly get beat.
Yeah. Donnie Moore.
I'm going to give them an 87, which is a B minus, but that's also 1 point away from a C plus.
It's great when
So it's
great
an
minds
86.
sort of think alike and all that.
So
So
I don't know.
87 is a B minus.
Donnie, you're showing your age here a little bit because that's not the grading scale anymore.
Yeah.
Well, it
Yeah,
was when I
87,
taught. It was when I was a teacher.
I know it was, and I remember it too, but that's not the grading scale anymore.
I'm
I'm
going to look at
I'm
the-
going with what it was when I was a teacher, Mark.
I made an 87 once on a test, and
I'm going to look at the total deal. After the first part of the year, those big wins came at home. Mm-hmm. The big wins. The Alabama, the Texas, and Auburn, and so forth and so on. They came at home. Those others were on a neutral court early. The bigger wins. So I'm gonna give them a B minus right now for the season, and I, and hopefully, it can. If you go back to the Texas game after we beat Texas, and I was doing this survey, I'd be giving them an A right now.
Oh, sure.
I'd be feeling real good about everything, but it's been tough, even without the injuries, and I know the injuries have played a part in where we've come here because they've never been healthy, really all year long. Hey, it's time to turn the page, and next up is the local scoreboard and Mark It Down featuring Marcus Fitzsimmons. You're listening to the Goatee Sports page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
For over 90 years, Anderson Lumber Company in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. Locally owned, so the money made here stays here. Whether you're renovating a kitchen, bath, new floors, doors, or windows, Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store and can take care of you from design to install. We welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa for all your home's needs, or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber since 1925.
Make the big play with MVP Money Tools from Knoxville TVA Employees Credit Union. With KTVA ECUs, contactless debit card, direct deposits that hit up to 2 days early, credit cards that earn cashback reward points, and loans with competitive rates. Add all 4 MVP Money Tools to build your financial roster. It's everything you need to win financially.
Join us now.
Federally insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Housing Lender. Restrictions may apply. Call for details. 800-467-5427.
Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County.
Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com. We all want our loved ones to be safe. Denso in Maryville is at the forefront of creating technology for safer vehicles. Join the automotive industry with Denso in a fast, challenging, clean, and safe environment. They offer great benefits and competitive pay, as well as a convenient on-site healthcare facility, cafes, fitness center, and more. Start your future now. Entry-level production positions start at $16 an hour for second or third shift. Visit densocareers.com/Maryville to learn more and apply. Klein Dental Arts is your new home for compassionate, worry-free dentistry. You can see Dr. Todd Klein and his staff at their dental home at 1905 West Broadway Avenue across from Weigel's. Klein Dental Arts offers complete dental care for the whole family, including 24-hour emergency care, flexible hours, and thoughtful care for patients with dental anxiety. Let Klein Dental Arts be your new dental home. Discover the difference and find your smile again. Call today at 983-0941. Merlin's Music World in Maryville is owned and operated by Dylan Davis and has been a fixture in Maryville since 1987. Guitars, amplifiers, lessons, sound system, and video system installations are products available at Merlin's. Merlin's also offers a 24-track digital recording studio featuring audio engineer Rusty Chambers. Visit Merlin's at 1920 East Lamar Alexander Parkway or call 977-0093.
Welcome back to the Blue Tick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Mike Edwards along with the rest of our broadcast crew, and now it's time for the local scoreboard sponsored by Mandy B. Street Realty. And Donnie Moore, good to see you this morning.
Thank you, Mike. Good to have you back with us today.
Glad to be back for at least a week anyway.
I hear you, man. Yeah.
So we got a lot of going on in the county, huh?
It will take you as long as we can get you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Good
we
to be
got
back.
we got a lot going on. We've got we'll start off with some high school basketball and the girls sectionals, which were actually last Saturday, so they're a little more than a week old right here, but we'll go with them anyway. So that last Saturday, the girls Class 2A sectionals, we had Alcoa at McMinn Central. Our old friend and FHS grad, Johnny Morgan, took it to Alcoa last week, 68-53. So thus ending Alcoa's season-long run. So
well, kind of evened out. I think Alcoa went down there last year and beat them.
They did,
on
yes.
And that's a tough place to play down there.
Oh, it is,
and
no
they
doubt.
beat them good down there last
sure
year.
did.
And then and that punched their ticket to the state.
Sure did.
And then this year, McMinn Central got them back.
So Johnny's been plotting this all season, all year long, right there.
And Alcoa ran into some injury problems.
They did.
Down toward the end of the year.
Yeah, they sure did. They've been missing Macy Ridge
Right.
for all through the playoff season.
Right, big
but,
loss.
Yeah, it sure did. But Johnny Morgan, FHS class of 71, and he plays Westview today for the Class 2A championship.
Wow.
So good luck to Johnny Morgan and his McMinn Central Chargerettes.
Which is, when we were talking 3 weeks ago, we were kind of penciling Westview against possibly Alcoa.
Yeah. Westview, I think, 32-1 on the season. So they've
got a real good
tough
real good
draw
team
for
going.
the Chargerettes. But if anybody can do it, FHS grad Johnny Morgan can do it.
That's Fulton High School? FHS?
No, that's Friendsville High School.
Okay, well, I just wanted you to explain that because there are people
Yes.
of my generation who didn't.
You're right.
Friendsville High School
You're right.
didn't
I needed
exist.
to explain that. Friendsville High School. I'm class of 74. I played with Johnny on the basketball team.
Yeah, and he went on to have an outstanding career at Tennessee Wesleyan.
He did,
Played
yeah.
for Coach Farmer down there.
That's
and,
right.
Wesleyan was always strong in basketball in that VSAC, along
Yeah,
with Carson Newman and LMU and
Yeah.
Tuskegee McKean College.
Johnny
Really
was a good
great
basketball
league.
player.
Yeah.
Sure was. In the Class 3A girls sectional, Seymour versus Greenville. Greenville ended Seymour's season 68-43. at Seymour's home court. But Seymour had a fine season, Marcus.
Really good season. They just finally ran into somebody they could not shut down defensively.
Yeah, right.
And kind of one of the themes we talked about, ran into a good shooting team on a good night.
Yeah, they sure did. But we want to extend our congratulations to the Lady Eagles. And then the Class 4A championship, Heritage went to Sevier County and ran into a buzzsaw up there. Sevier County's always tough. That's a tough place to play too, Mike.
You're
Sevier
not kidding.
They brought that program back. They've had some drop off.
They have. They've
for
had
a couple
some tough,
seasons,
some lean seasons up there
but
in the
it's playing
past few years.
They're much more like the Sevier County Bearettes we've
Yes.
known.
You go
They
up
sure
to
have.
Sevier County, you better be up 10 with about a minute to go.
You better believe it. But Sevier County won that one 56
You better
to
have the bus
39.
warmed up.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. So Heritage ended a fine season too, 56-39, Sevier County. And in the boys sectionals, which were Monday evening, in the Class 1A, Greenback went to University High up in northeast Tennessee and took one on the chin up there, 71-52. So Greenback's season came to an end up there at University
But
High.
a really good run for them because
Yeah, it was a good.
I mean,
good
they
run
had
for
they had some
Greenback.
down points this season, and for them to put together the kind of postseason run they did was really good for that program.
Yeah, sure was. Sure was. So congratulations on a good year for Greenback. Alcoa stayed home in the 2A class sectional and hosted Tyner Academy and really put it on them. Alcoa won that one 64-43 against Tyner Academy, making for a long trip back to Chattanooga for Tyner.
And you know, we had Alcoa in here last Saturday
Right.
talking about that game. You could tell then that they've been waiting a year to
Yes,
play this
they
game
have.
again because it was a rematch of last year's sectional,
Yes, it was.
and they were not going to go to overtime
Nope.
this time around.
Absolutely. They knew they had the confidence and they knew they had the talent to win this game, and win it they did, 64-43. Alcoa plays Pearl Cone at 10 o'clock Central Daylight Time Thursday at Murphy Center on the campus of MTSU in Murfreesboro. That's the first game of the state tournament, the leadoff game of the state tournament. And, you know, they know they've got the talent to do this thing.
And we'll wish the Tornadoes the best of luck.
Yes,
and you
we
know,
do.
you meant championship rounds are going on today for the girls, and I think the biggest surprise is Bearden didn't get there.
Right.
Lost in the quarterfinals.
Yep.
I mean,
All
kind of a
season long, they
shocker.
lose one game,
yeah.
and it ends their season.
Well, you know, in the state tournament in Tennessee, it's the tournament that keeps on going. You know,
It does.
you can lose and keep on going. It just seems that Bearden didn't lose,
No.
and they lost. They should have thrown the mulligan card out there and said, hey, I got one mulligan left here. I hadn't lost in this tournament. I get another chance, huh?
But that's not the way it works.
I
You
know.
It's
It
it's
doesn't work that
it's
way.
when
but
you
it
lose.
seems like it ought to work that way as you got the mulligan in your pocket.
I
see?
agree, Mike. Yeah, you're right. But, you know, we wish Alcoa the best of luck in the state tournament as they play on Thursday. And what can we say in the 4A sectional, Marcus? William Blunt goes to Dobbins-Bennett, loses 164 to 63 on a last split-second call.
Let me give a lot of credit to the coaching staff at William Blunt for making very politically correct comments after that game.
Please do.
That was
They
it
did.
had
That
to
was
be,
classy.
It had to be very tempting to put some blame on the call
Uh-huh.
and to question that call, but they
They did not.
did not.
Coach Wendell was a very classy person, and he is a very classy person.
So kudos to them for that.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it was a very tough loss
It
in a
was.
very tough venue on a very close call, as that could have gone or could have been whistled or not whistled, depending on the gym and the environment and the
Yes.
referee at that particular point in time.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
it
I
could.
think and watching the game, and a great season up there at William Blunt.
Oh,
Now, listen, I
fabulous.
don't take anything away from them whatsoever, and that kind of game, when you lose, you just want to throw up. I mean, that's all you can say about it. There's a lot of luck in tournament play. There's a lot of luck in sports, and luck played a lot in the ending of that game, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
But leading up to that, I thought when I think Dobbins Bennett may have been up 1 or maybe down 1, I can't remember, but there was a reach called on Dobbins Bennett. It looked like all ball down there. It didn't look like he touched anybody on William Blunt. It didn't affect the game because the foul shot, it was a 1-and-1, and the foul shot was missed. And I thought, I don't know about this. At the end of the game, if you're calling something like that, what's going to happen as we get on into the end here? And by golly, they called that. I will say one thing. That guy, tremendous pressure on that guy that went to the free throw line. Listen, game on the line, possible overtime on the line, trip to the state tournament on the line, and he steps up to the free throw line with ice water in his veins, and, buddy, he nailed 2 free throws that was just all net. And I'll tell you what, you got to – putting the call aside, and I don't agree with the call at all. I thought it was a really late call. I thought it was a really ticky-tacky call. I don't think the guy would have even got the shot off. But putting that aside, that takes a lot to go right up there with all that on the line.
It does.
With nobody on the free throw line and everybody in there, and he nailed it. Unfortunately, I'm surprised, and we talked about this, that you can go to the scores table. Now, I didn't see anything on the video. I didn't see any officials going over there. I didn't see any coaches going over there. But you in a situation like that, a lot of times you can request that they go to the scores table, and the official scorer then becomes the guy that makes the call. Did the call come before the zeros went on the clock by him as the official timer? He could have ended that game. He could have ended it. But I didn't see anybody go to the scores table. Didn't see anybody go there.
I want to put out our congratulations to Caden Wendell, junior guard for William Blunt, becoming the all-time leading scorer at William Blunt High School, past Micah Ballard.
Boys.
Yes, boys leading scorer. Yes.
Yeah.
During the tournament up there, and he's a great basketball player.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
And
congratulations.
And
to Caden
coming
Wendell.
from Indiana and going through the deal up there where everybody's name's put in a hat, and you may have the first 2 teams in the state playing each other in the first game by a blind draw in the sectional, and 1 loss and you're out.
Mm-hmm.
I have a hard time, even when I coached here in Tennessee, and even when I look at it right now. You lose somewhere along the line and you win the state tournament. It's like, well, we won the Tennessee state tournament, but you're not going to tell anybody. But we lost a game or 2 on the way. You see what I'm saying? I don't know whether this is a true state tournament or not. I don't know. But they call it that.
It is what it is, though.
If William Blunt had ended their season against Carnes, which wouldn't have been a good deal, it wouldn't have hurt near as much, is what I'm trying to say. Because they lost that game, they didn't play as well, the season would have been over. But when you gave them that mulligan and you went down there and you lost the way you lost, then it was really hard, Tough deal.
It was. We got a few signings this week, all from Maryville High School. Nick Johnson signed with Maryville College for basketball. Peyton Cooper signed with ETSU for football. Davis Ernsberger signed with Maryville College for track and field. Cameron Gribble signed with Cumberland University for baseball. Allie Richards signed with Tennessee Wesleyan for softball. Cannon Johnson signed with Cumberland University for football. And Lily Smith signed with University of Alabama for the dance program. So congratulations for all these fine student athletes. And we wish them well on their continuation of their athletics and academics programs. You're listening to WKCE 105.1 FM and 1180 AM, Mid-Century Radio. And now I'm going to kick it to veteran sports writer Marcus Fitzsimmons for his feature, Mark It Down.
Well, thank you, Donnie. That transition just gets better every week.
Yeah.
I hope so. Get a lot of practice with it.
And we've got some special guests, but I've got an announcement in here that just tickled my fancy, so I'm going to give this one out from the Seymour girls soccer team.
Oh, good.
They are doing a fundraiser, and I thought this was rather clever. If you do not want to hide the Easter eggs for your kids, If that is just too cumbersome, if you just don't want to get out, if you got hay fever problems and don't want to get out in the grass with them, you can find Seymour Soccer on Facebook. They are running a fundraiser where you can decide which package of eggs you want. The girls will come out to the house and hide your eggs for your children for you. Put them in the yard, and there's a golden egg option as well. If you want that top tier golden egg hidden out there, they will hide the eggs in your yard for you for a price that benefits the soccer team program.
Yep. Hey, my wife, she won't put our Easter decorations out. She says she's too tired. You know, she won't put the Easter baskets out and the chocolate cover. I got all these decorations. Will they come and put the decorations out?
I think you should give them a call, Mike.
Give them a call.
I think they might make an
Seymour
exception for your case. But they will play Easter Bunny for you.
All right.
That's pretty cool.
They are helping him out in case he's busy. They will help put the eggs in your yard and make sure the little ones have something to go find. But anyway, we have special guests in the house because if spring is sprung, then let's start with baseball previews. And William Blunt is going to kick us off this year. Coach Justin Young is here with some of the Govs. Guys, thanks for coming in on Saturday morning. I know you'd rather be out there in this wonderful 40-degree weather throwing the baseball around. Coach, the clock is on. First game is within sight. How do you feel about this season?
We're excited. These three seniors right here are going to play a big role for us. But we've had, a pretty good preseason. We've had a lot of rain, but we've had warm temperatures. We've got a lot of working on the field, a lot of inter-squad scrimmages, some scrimmages with some other teams. And you're right, it kicks off Monday. We've got 5 games starting next week, but we've got some experience back. We've got some young guys we're going to be mixing in, and I'm looking forward to it. It's always a fun time, and for me as a baseball guy at my age, it's nice to be around some young kids and watch them do what they love, and we're looking forward to it.
So 5 games next week. I'm glad you're easing into the start of the season there with just a light work every now
I
and then.
tease our guys that first week we're on spring break. Last week we played 6 games in 6 days. And I told them after one game, I said, guys, it's kind of like you're in the big leagues because you don't have school. You just get to play 1 game a day. Unfortunately, when week 2 rolls around, you're back to being a high school student. You go to class all day, and then you have to play a game. So baseball's tough. You cram so many games in 6-7 weeks. I teased with one of our coaches last night. I said, well, practice is over because now we get to where we're playing every day. You don't get a whole lot of practice time.
Coach Heatherly over at Farragut High School, great baseball coach, he used to schedule games during spring break. But what happened is when he scheduled them, all the players' girlfriends went down to Florida. And he said he could never get them to play very well because they was all worried about their girlfriends down there at the beach.
That can happen.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, you brought a trio of seniors with you. Go ahead and introduce these guys. And, guys, I'm going to ask him to talk about you. Wave for the camera when we get to you here.
Okay.
But introduce these 3 seniors for us.
Justin Bell right here, shortstop, right-handed pitcher. A lot of experience for him. This young man's freshman year, all these guys, freshman year was cut short with COVID. Sophomore year, he got 10 games in, hurt his knee, missed the rest of that season. So he's really playing on just, a little over a year's experience at the varsity level. But he's a big piece for us. He's going to be our number 1 on the mound. Probably hit first in the lineup. He's going to carry us in a lot of ways. He's going to have some help as well. But one of the most gifted players I've ever been around, and if we can just keep his head from getting too big sometimes, he's a great player and is going to help us out tremendously. Kendall Brewer, right center fielder, right-handed pitcher, same thing. Pitched a lot for us last year and was in the everyday lineup in the outfield. Will probably hit second for us and will be our number 2. And I've already told our guys, you've got Monday. He's got Tuesday. After that, I have no idea where we're going. But I feel good to have 2 guys that we trust. We're going to need Kendall offensively. And when he's not on the mound, he's got to play center field and run some balls down for us. And I didn't say this either about him, but Kendall's going to be going to Chattanooga State. Justin is going to be going to Walter State. So those 2 guys right there. Ethan Pratt's over here. Again, senior catcher. Ethan caught for us last year. A lot of experience for him. All 3 of these guys are hard workers, but Ethan as well. He's constantly trying to improve and coming to us about what he can work on to get better. He's really developed a good reputation with these 2 guys in particular behind the plate with calling pitches and working with these guys, and they're kind of on the same wavelength as to he knows what they want to throw in certain situations. So he's going to be a big piece for us behind the plate, and offensively, he's going to have to hit the middle lineup and drive some runs in for us, but I know he'll be able to do that.
Well, let's put these seniors on the spot then, guys. you got to be looking forward to Monday. Any butterflies because you're 48 hours away?
I mean, to an extent, I mean, after you've played varsity baseball for at least, so I played a little bit sophomore and then junior year. When you get to that senior year, honestly, for me, I'm a little bit more excited than nervous. I'm just ready to, this year, especially being committed, not having to worry about the recruitment side of it. I just get to lay back, have fun, and enjoy the game.
Justin, it's kind of same thing to you. Senior year's kind of winding up, so you got to feel like the high school side of it's kind of winding up, but the season's still there for just starting off for you.
Yeah, it's kind of exciting, but like you don't want to do the whole high school part of it. You just want to get to the baseball part of it at this point. That's the most exciting part of it.
Ethan, you have to work with both of these guys. What's the worst thing about either one of them as far as trying to hold on to those pitches? And who's going to make you work harder trying to make sure that looked like a strike?
I don't know. It can go both ways. Justin, me and him kind of bash heads sometimes because while I do know what he wants to throw, sometimes he likes to throw a lot of his curveballs and stuff. So those are always harder to catch because he's a really good pitcher. And me and Kendall have been together for a while, so I'd say both of them are good, but probably Justin. When
you don't have one of them, and if you're an everyday catcher, you work with a lot of different pitchers. And when you're a senior, you end up kind of coaching those pitchers as much as sometimes as the coaches do.
Yes, sir.
Is there a little bit of, I wouldn't say pressure, but does it put you more in a position of feeling like you're going to have to do some things to help this team progress through the year?
Once again, to an extent, but I don't know. I've caught so many guys that also pitch with us for so long. It's a second nature at this point.
Coach, how do you mentioned them and you talked about them. Once you go past these two guys, how do you feel about the staff and how much is still a game in progress?
Yeah, we return a lot on the mound. We lost one senior pitcher last year. Now he was really good. Rody Kirkland was really good, so he's going to be tough to replace. But we've got Brooks Bird is back as a junior that threw 40 innings for us, so he'll slide into that number 3 role. We've got Dawson Wells, Caden Clarkson, Nate Ray, Hunter Stewart, guys that we need to give us some depth on the mound. They're all capable, but it's early in the season. Who's going to be able to perform and get us some outs? Right now, I feel good about 7 guys, but I need to figure out who's going to slide into that number 4, number 5, number 6. Because with the number of games we play, the competition we play, we need 7 or 8 pitchers. These 2 guys are really good, and I told Troy just a minute ago on the phone. I'm not going to risk one of these guys' college career to win a high school baseball game. When they get to a number for me, and that number's never going to be 120, they're done. If it costs me a game during one of their senior seasons, that's the way it is. But we've got to find depth on the mound to help these guys in relief and to give us some starts throughout the season.
Kendall, because of the injury and what happened, I wanted to ask you about this one. Y'all are the last class that are going to have that COVID season from freshman year. Looking back at it now, how does it kind of feel about that season and how things just did not work out your freshman year?
Well, I mean, part of me is almost thankful that because I was always an undersized kid, and I got that extra months to hit the weight room, really figure out what I was doing. And we were fortunate enough that travel ball that summer could pick just right back up. So we did miss the spring season, and then I think of everybody that suffered from the COVID season, we probably had it the least, having to just miss that freshman season and really not miss too much of varsity baseball for most of us and get some extra time to really develop.
And you mentioned earlier you got the commitment already done. Talk a little bit about making the decision and what kind of led you to making that decision.
So honestly, I always knew that I wanted to play college baseball, and I never really knew which level and which school and what route that would take me. And so I kind of just played the game, played the way I knew to play, and just kind of let the recruitment side and my coaches take care of that. And after talking with Walter State and learning about their program and finding out what their program's really about and they can take me to that next level, I really like Walter State.
All right, so I'll put one to all three of you. You got a full schedule sitting in front of you. Who's sitting on that schedule as one of those games that you've got circled for one reason or another? And I'll start with you here.
Probably Farragut. We lost a tough one at home to them in extra innings last year, and that one kind of hurt. And, they're always a really good team. So Farragut at home would be nice to win.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to go along the same line. Since that's our first home game coming back off of spring break, it'll be our first district game, too, at home. Either them or Hardin Valley. That'll be a really big one because we beat them at home, but then we went to their place, and it wasn't very pretty. So just hopefully turn it around this year.
Yeah, and I'm in the same boat as them, except for I think Maryville is up there with Farragut because they're our crosstown rivals, and we never really got them last year, and I really want to be able to get them this year.
Coach, what about for you? Anybody circled on your schedule? Is it just one game at a time at this point?
No, one game at a time. If you'd asked me this question 10 years ago, I'd have been so amped up for particular teams that kids feed off of that, and I'm trying to do a better job of just one game at a time. Everybody we play is really, really good, and we've got to just make it our goal to be playing our best baseball in May. We can't sacrifice into the season goals for a win in March. So no, for me, it's one game at a time. Selfishly, I want to win them all, but I know that's not going to happen in baseball. So one game at a time, and we'll see what happens.
Okay, I know Donnie's giving me the short on time, but I still want to ask this question: how does Charlie Paleo Field look? And did it behave in the offseason?
He would be proud, And speaking of that, no, he's not. I know he's not. He's probably not listening, but
he probably is.
Well, if he is, I never got a chance probably to tell him on this show how much he's meant to me with my time as a player and a coach. So I'm very thankful for him. But yeah, we installed a new outfield wall. We turfed our mound and plate. Did a lot of work to it, and it looks really good. And I'm happy for these guys because they deserve it. And yeah, Coach Paleo he'd be proud.
Are you saying that the Charlie Paleo field now actually looks better than Charlie Paleo? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, Coach Paleo's always gonna look better than a piece of grass or whatever. But yeah, it's close. We're getting closer.
Now there was a rumor that the athletic director was making a bid to get the Paleo sign up here off Alcoa Highway when they closed down and put that on your concession stand. Did that materialize?
No, I've not heard that. So that's still probably in the works. Who knows?
All right.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we appreciate you coming in. We wish y'all a great senior season here. Maybe we'll get a chance to have you back, talk postseason. We'll get a little bit closer. But, Mike, we'll go ahead and turn the page.
Coach, I like your sweatshirts.
Appreciate
The guys in there this morning, if you can't see us on YouTube, they got some great-looking sweatshirts in here.
And I'd like to ask you, while we go off there, you can think about this. If you coach Winblunt boys basketball, if you were in Coach Wendell's shoes and that call was made on one of your teams, how would you have handled
They'd
that?
have thrown me out of the gym. I would have been in the Kingsport jail up there, and they'd been interviewing me there, and I'd probably still be in jail waiting for a court appearance.
Well, and you guys said it, but Coach Wendell and his program, class and character all the way, and
Definitely.
I'm really proud to be a male sports team in that same program, so they do a great job.
Devastating. That was just a tough deal on the season they've had and how it ended up there. But heck, good luck to you guys
Thank you.
in baseball this year. We'll look forward to seeing you later on in the spring.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, we'll take a time out here, and when we return, the Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week segment will be up. You're listening to the Goatee Sports Page, Blount County Sports Voice, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
The Bluetick Tavern is home to the tastiest pizza in Blount County. Try our signature Broadway barbecue pizza, grilled chicken and red onions covered in mounds of mozzarella. Or sink your teeth into our one-of-a-kind chicken and bacon pizza. Made with an olive oil base, grilled chicken, bacon, red onions, and covered in Brussels petals. The Bluetick Tavern also has salads, sandwiches, and the area's largest beer selection. Regularly recognized as the best pizza in Blount County, it's the Bluetick Tavern, located at 128 West Broadway in downtown Maryville. The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget and make you comfortable. Their motto still stands true today. Call us first, we'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month.
Your newspaper? That's right. The Daily Times is your newspaper, tailored to where you live, emphasizing the things that affect you and keeping track of the people and players in our community. The award-winning Daily Times can be delivered each morning right to your door or inbox with the latest in local news and sports. For a 30-day free trial offer, call 981-1100 and begin enjoying your life, your times, every day with the Daily Times.
Dunkin' has what you need to conquer the day. So if you want to go from, I don't got this, to, I got this, well, then get this. A bold, smooth espresso drink from Dunkin'. Like a layered, velvety caramel macchiato, a rich, chocolatey mocha latte, or a creamy, non-dairy oat milk latte. Because this day isn't going to conquer itself. No, you're going to do that. Take a sip of You Got This with Dunkin' Espresso drinks. Order ahead on the app plus earn rewards. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary.
For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices. Stevenson Tire Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at stevensonTire.net. Waters Equipment is your East Tennessee New Holland agriculture and construction dealer. Waters Equipment has been serving Blount County for 48 years and has 2 locations in Maryville for sales and service for New Holland equipment. Offering shop and field service for trucks and equipment of all brands, Waters offers equipment rentals for New Holland skid steer, Mini X, and tractors. Call 238-9000 for your rental needs. That's 238-9000. Waters Equipment.
Back to the Blue Tick Tower in downtown Maryville. It's Mike Edwards. It's time for the Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week segment. Troy is off this week with, well, I guess he's down at the SEC tournament. I don't know. He said he was going to come back this morning, but
yeah, he's in Nashville
if UT got beat, but I guess that they got beat last night, and he was so devastated he just went down to Printer's Alley and drunk liquor all night long. I don't know what he did down there, but he's not here this morning.
Sure.
He's not here this morning. That's all I can tell you. But Marcus, you're going to take it, and you got Heritage softball, and by golly, I enjoy softball because I know how tough a league that is.
Yeah, it
and
is.
A lot of great teams in here, and we got Coach Sherman, so I'm going to turn it over to you, Guy.
Well, I'm going to assume Troy is making the transition back to baseball. As we turn from basketball to spring sports on the sports page, so does Troy in the college beat.
All right.
But we are happy to have Heritage Softball with us this morning and the Anderson Lumber Company segment. And we're going to talk to the coach who's in charge of making sure the girls bring the lumber this year. Coach, thanks for coming in this morning. Season is not too far away, and I noticed on Facebook that there was some, preseason stuff going on this week, and saw the athletic trainer's photo, which would look good. But how do y'all feel about Monday and what's going to happen?
Well, we'll see. We go to Florida, so we're starting the season in Florida this year. First time we've done that. Going down to St. Augustine.
Not too shabby.
Yeah, looking forward to it, but it's not going to be that much warmer than what it is here. That's what we were anticipating. But yeah, we're excited to get started, play some other teams, play some teams we don't ever see, and then of course jump into the district play the next week. So we're excited. We've put in some work in the off season. Hopefully it'll pay off.
Now, is this a tournament where you see teams from all over, or is this going to be like where some of the basketball teams went to Florida and ended up playing a bunch of Tennessee teams? They were going to stay here and play.
Yeah, and we didn't do a tournament. We just got 3 schools. We're playing, I'll think of them in a second, Toccoa Creek High School, On Monday, we're supposed to play. We play Tuesday.
I don't remember.
And,
Boy, you better find out or you're going to get the wrong field down there.
It's Nice High School. Nice High School on Tuesday, and then we take Wednesday off, and we play Flagler Palm Coast on Thursday.
So, road week and then jump right into district play.
Yeah. We come back. We don't play Monday, and then we play William Blount on Tuesday at home.
Well, you've brought a couple of the Lady Mountaineers with you. I'm going to let you introduce them. Tell us a little bit about what you're expecting from them this season, and because we're simulcasting, it's wave when Coach talks about you, so everybody can see you up on YouTube.
Okay. To my left is Ella Whelan. Ella's a junior. She primarily plays third base, sits in the middle of the lineup, and then in the middle is Kendall Correll. Kendall is a senior, and Kendall is an outfielder, and she hits fifth, sixth in the lineup right now. Of course, that can all change. And then the next player is Izzy Hayes. Izzy's a junior pitcher and outfielder, and she's our lone returning pitcher from last season.
I was going to say, it seems like we might have heard that name before somewhere
a few
along
times,
the way.
probably, yes.
Maybe I've seen it in the paper once, twice.
Well, a few times. She threw the bulk of the load last year, so I'm expecting the same this year.
Well, let's pick on her first. Does that sound good?
She's ready for it.
Izzy, you're coming back. This is a loaded district, but you got a lot of familiar faces on the team. What does the team want to do this year? What are y'all starting off with as the first thing you want to get done this year?
We just want to stay up the whole season and try not to get down on ourselves and just keep doing what we always do, which is just do our best and try our hardest. So.
Well, Kendall Senior, is that right?
Yes. I want to maintain not getting any more injuries. We have a catcher already out with a torn ACL, and that really does hurt us a little bit when people are getting hurt. So I just hope that we can all stay healthy.
Senior season is always special. It's always that looking at last season at school and 6 weeks from being done with high school at the same time.
I really love this team. I love playing with all of them, and I'm really glad might be the last team I play with.
And Ella, what are you looking forward to this year? What do you have on your calendars? What this team should do and what you want to do?
I agree with Kendall. I really love this team, and I think we have a lot of potential this year. And I think we have a really good chance of going to state this year.
Coach, she just put the pressure on you.
That's okay. We'll take it.
I think we have the same question and conversation every year, but it's always worth having. If you can get out of this district, you can do anything.
Yes.
But you've got to get out of this district.
Getting out of the district is difficult. We got the back-to-back state champions in Farragut in our district. And then, Bearden finished second last year. We ended up getting the best of them in the tournament. And then Maryville, I think Maryville's going to be improved this year. And then there's just not an off night. There's not. The number 16 beat us last year and should have beat us in the tournament, and we made a miraculous comeback and beat Hardin Valley in the first round. So there's not an easy game, at all. And then get to the region, it's about the same. It's a little bit more top heavy on that side of the region, that district, but some good teams there as well. And then of course Sub-State is Sub-State.
So when it comes time and you're sitting there making up the schedule and working on if you're working with your athletic director and saying what do we want to do and where do we want to go and that sort of thing, do you try to schedule heavy or do you try to schedule to develop? Because you're already going to be playing some of the best teams in the state, just playing your district schedule.
Right. It depends. Last year was a little more, we started off with a little bit of a lighter schedule because we just didn't know. A lot of unknowns. This year, not so much. It's obviously we're going to Florida. And then, some of the teams we open up with in the early part of the season. Clinton, I think they're AAA now, but we'll play them second on Wednesday, and they're going to be a good team in that district. So, got a little tougher schedule this year, and that's fine. We're ready for it.
Well, you mentioned Izzy, and I'm going to come back to her, but what does the rotation look like as far as what do you all hope to be able to do with the pitchers you have?
We have Izzy as a junior, returning junior. Expect her to be better. She's worked on some things in the summer and off season, so she's improved quite a bit. And then we have 2 incoming freshmen. Caitlin Russell comes in. She's probably our number 2 right now. She throws the ball really well. Pretty good movement, just really good velocity. And then Alicia Bird will get some innings as well. She's another freshman, a little more finesse. So that's the 3 that we have, and those 3 that we got.
So, Izzy, we'll give you an easy question here. What's your favorite pitch? What do you like to throw when you can get it by?
A curveball, probably.
Well, there's Mike going down swinging.
Money pitch.
I like her changeup personally.
So do you all
She's worked on the change.
Do you all hit against her from time to time in BP?
Yeah. I usually hit off Caitlin, but sometimes I've hit off Izzy a few times.
Ella hits off me like every time.
So when you see her, and you're also when you're backing her on defense, do you have a feeling about what she's going to do and when she's on and when she's not from the player's perspective? Do you get to see that?
Well, Izzy is usually on. Like, you can tell from before the game. We usually get pretty hype in pregame. But in the field, we all just really trust Izzy when she's on the mound. So.
Well, Izzy, you're in a unique situation because you're the number 1, but you've also got freshmen. And that always puts a little bit of a leadership burden for the starting pitcher as you're working on your game, working on the team, but also you got freshmen trying to give them experience and being the voice of wisdom. Is that a little bit of a new situation for you?
I mean, yeah, because last year our other pitcher, she was a senior. But, I mean, I just don't really think of myself as a leader. I think we all just feed off each other and we try to help each other as well.
Kendall, I always get tickled at outfielders in softball. I think they tend to look like they may be more ritualistic than even their baseball counterparts in some of the every inning situations you all go through. How does that work for Heritage, and who gets to set the tone as to what we're going to do and how many slaps will be exchanged, et cetera, et cetera? Is that a senior call?
I wouldn't say it's really a senior call, but I feel like our seniors definitely do lead on the field a little bit, but it's more of, I don't know. We had 5 seniors at the beginning of the season, and now we have 4 main. And there's 3 of us that are outfielders, so we're all in the outfield usually together, and we like to call ourselves the no-fly zone. So that's always a good time.
That's a good name. I like that one.
It is. I like that.
I like that one. So what is the start of the inning ritual for for a senior outfield?
We all run out together. We say D on me, D on 3, and we run out, and then we talk about. We just talk about what we're probably going to do the next inning hitting, and we do a little underhand. We pitch to each other in the outfield. We just throw around, and then we have a few handshakes, and then we all run to our positions.
Clown show.
Yeah.
Coach, it's got to be entertaining, though.
It is entertaining. It's very entertaining.
And, you've seen this develop over time, but, we've come a long way from just some little bit of banter coming out of the dugouts. It's become a whole thing now.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're not. To be honest, dugout. We're not a cheer rah type. They don't have all these set cheers that they do, but they're always up, loud, making a bunch of noise, bunch of racket, and having a great time. And they have fun. They do have fun. That's fine as long as they enjoy it, and it's not over the top. We're good.
Well, I'm going to give you a chance. Give a little bit of the shout-outs as to the people helping out the team this year as far as helping you get the field ready.
Oh, wow.
Assistant coaches, the parents, that sort of stuff.
Tim Hammond-Tree, he does our mowing now. I relinquished that.
He's really good
I
at
gave
that.
Up. Yes, he does. He's a grass wizard. So he does that. Of course, AD Robbie Bennett helps us get some stuff done. And then we've got some guys in the press box, Randy Bird, Randy Foister, Robert Russell. They kind of handle press box. Concessions is Tony and Becky Williamson, parents, and they kind of head that up. And then, of course, just various parents and people helping us out. And then my assistants, Mackenzie, my daughter, David Irvin, and Ashley Day. Just couldn't do it without them for sure. They keep us in line, keep us going, help us get things worked out.
And Danielle.
And Danielle Abel, she's a student teacher at school. She played at Maryville College, so she's helping us out a little bit this spring too.
A little bit of a good gift there.
Yeah, absolutely. Always good to get free help.
Well, thanks to all those that are helping, and if you're not helping out your own school, you definitely should take a chance.
Oh, shout out to the trainers as well.
Oh, don't forget the trainers.
Keep us on the field. Yeah, Gracie and Jennifer.
But you get a bye this week, but when Heritage comes back next week, chance to come out and see the Lady Mountaineers play.
Absolutely.
Come on out and support them and help them with that home schedule and a little bit of fan support. And, guys, we wish you all the best of luck this season.
Thank you.
Enjoy the trip to Florida. I was going to say don't forget the suntan lotion, but I don't think that's going to be necessary after all.
Pack the hoodies and sweats.
And maybe we'll get a chance to talk to you all when you all get back, and we'll talk a little bit about postseason as we get a little bit closer.
I hope so.
But, Mike, I think we'll go ahead and turn the page.
Thanks, Mark. It's time for a break, and when we return, it's Sports Headlines with Donnie Moore and the Tennessee Smokies Spotlight. You're listening to the GoTees Sports page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
For over 90 years, Anderson Lumber Company in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. Locally owned, so the money made here stays here. Whether you're renovating a kitchen, bath, new floors, doors, or windows, Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store and can take care of you from design to install. We welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa for all your home's needs, or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber since 1925.
Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com.
We all want our loved ones to be safe. Denso in Maryville is at the forefront of creating technology for safer vehicles. Join the automotive industry with Denso in a fast, challenging, clean, and safe environment. They offer great benefits and competitive pay, as well as a convenient on-site healthcare facility, cafes, fitness center, and more. Start your future now. Entry-level production positions start at $16 an hour for second or third shift. Visit densocareers.com/Maryville to learn more and apply. Klein Dental Arts is your new home for compassionate, worry-free dentistry. You can see Dr. Todd Klein and his staff at their dental home at 1905 West Broadway Avenue across from Weigel's. Klein Dental Arts offers complete dental care for the whole family, including 24-hour emergency care, flexible hours, and thoughtful care for patients with dental anxiety. Let Klein Dental Arts be your new dental home. Discover the difference and find your smile again. Call today at 983-0941. Merlin's Music World in Maryville is owned and operated by Dylan Davis and has been a fixture in Maryville since 1987. Guitars, amplifiers, lessons, sound system, and video system installations are products available at Merlin's. Merlin's also offers a 24-track digital recording studio featuring audio engineer Rusty Chambers. Visit Merlin's at 1920 East Lamar Alexander Parkway or call 977-0093.
Make the big play with MVP Money Tools from Knoxville TVA Employees Credit Union with KTVA ECUs, contactless debit card, direct deposits that hit up to 2 days early, credit cards that earn cashback reward points, and loans with competitive rates. Add all 4 MVP Money Tools to build your financial roster. It's everything you need to win financially.
Join us now.
Federally insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Housing Lender. Restrictions may apply. Call for details. 800-467-5427.
The Blueticks.
Welcome back to the Blue Tick Tavern in Maryville. This is Mike Edwards and Donnie Moore. It's time for sports headlines, and I will make a comment. College basketball coaches are dropping like flies out there.
Wow, they sure are, aren't they? We've had several go the way of the Lonesome Chiricahua this week.
Yeah.
But
hit the road, Jack.
at the end of the season, that's when they start falling.
Yeah, Wow.
So
Some pretty big names out there,
they
too.
Really, yeah. And we expect to have, I think, Chris Beard.
At Ole Miss.
Yeah.
That's created some
Beard at Ole Miss.
controversy. And
yeah.
Rick Pitino, they're talking about propping him up maybe at St. John's.
Yes.
Huh? Coach Trelly prop him up because he's what, about 70-some, 80 years old. I don't know. He's getting on up there.
That's right.
You're going to have to do something with him. But
no doubt.
But they're talking maybe, and Georgetown's got him mentioned it for their job. But
you're right. I heard that too.
Yeah.
So. Well, we'll see what happens. Well, let's have a little headline party here. Per the latest reports, the Chicago Bears are trading the number 1 overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft to the Carolina Panthers. In return for the first overall pick, the Bears are to receive the 9th and the 61st picks in the 23 NFL Draft, a first-round pick next year, a second-round pick in the 2025 draft, and wide receiver DJ Moore. The Panthers are obviously trading up to get a quarterback. The question is, will it be Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, or someone else? Don't know.
I don't really understand trading off your first pick. I mean, to me, if you want a quarterback, that's when you get him.
That's right. Well, apparently the Bears don't want a quarterback.
Well, they don't. I mean, they've got a quarterback in development that they've invested a lot in.
Yeah, they do.
And they think they're going to get a return on that investment. So why your best player available is a quarterback or a quarterback? You don't need a quarterback.
True.
So do you pay that much money to get an offensive lineman? No. What, trade him. You just trade the pick to try to pick up. And they got a good deal out of it. They moved down to number 9, but they also picked up, 2 second-round picks and a first-round pick down the road?
A 9th and a 61st pick in this year's draft, a first-round pick next year, and a second-round pick in 25.
So, yeah, you come out the winner.
So they've got some high picks.
They may move another couple spots down depending on what they really want.
Yeah.
To complement what they need offensively to make him effective.
Yeah.
And I always think it's just a big risk is your very number 1 quarterback where – I mean, I don't think it was a great year for college quarterbacks coming out this year.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be up in the air for the Panthers if that's the direction they're going to go.
Well, they must know who they want because they gave stuff away to get him.
They sure did. They sure did.
So they either know or they have it down to one of the two.
Yep.
Yeah. Who do you think?
I'm not going to guess because I haven't figured out anything Carolina's done since the franchise started. So.
I know, really. Well, the New York Jets have been in talks with the Green Bay Packers and their 4-time MVP quarterback Aaron Rodgers about a potential trade, according to ESPN. The 39-year-old's NFL future is unclear, and he has not said whether he intends to remain in Green Bay, look for a new team, or retire in the coming months. Rodgers, still under contract with the Packers, must have permission from them to talk to any other teams.
I'd rather talk to Ray about playing quarterback for me rather than Aaron Rodgers.
Well, every year it just seems to be there's always drama.
I know, really.
At the court, whether he's
drama
up
king.
if he's up for a new contract or if he's already he's already under contract, and but still there's drama. Whether I think within a year or so they're going to have to make a move anyway because there aren't too many 40-year-old quarterbacks now anymore.
That's true.
And
even though Brady's gone.
Yeah, even though he's still a very good quarterback, but I think
he's due $55 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you imagine how much that's going to open up on the salary cap.
I mean, if you're Green Bay, this is your Brett Favre year. This is if you can deal him,
kick him. Yeah,
because he's not worth the drama anymore.
Well, the drama's
Isn't
the same
that
thing.
truth?
The drama's the same thing that was going through with Brett Favre.
Really?
Hopefully they've learned from experience and all that.
Really? Well, Furman men's basketball defeated Chattanooga 88-79 this week in the SoCon Championship to go dancing for the first time since 1980.
That's great.
Basketball fans are able to watch games almost every day now as conference championships are being decided to determine who goes to the big show.
That's great for Furman.
It sure is.
I mean, that's, they're in a great area. I always like Furman. We all know George Quarles was there for many years before. Now he's the head coach at East Tennessee. And so that's just a great moment for that program.
Yeah, no doubt. Tamari Key, Ray, announced this week she'll be returning to play another season for Coach Kelly Harper's Lady Vols. The 6'6" Key is a presence in the lane for the Lady Vols, but her playing time was curtailed this season because of injury. Are you thrilled?
No, I'm really not.
He looks thrilled, doesn't he?
You look thrilled.
He didn't have to say a thing.
He's sitting here like Rodney Dangerfield.
She's back.
Yeah.
Next season.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't.
Okay, enough said.
Yeah, enough said.
Good response.
Yeah.
The World Baseball Classic began on Tuesday of this week as the teams are now in pool play, then advanced to the knockout stage. Games can be viewed on several networks, including ESPN, Fox, SportsMax, and others.
So according to that description, they're going to shoot pool to see who goes
or they're playing in the pool.
Or they're in the pool.
And that determines who goes into the MMA round?
Yeah, that's it.
Baseball players doing it. It's like the 70s all over again.
It is, isn't it? Marcus Erickson dodged multiple incidents in a chaotic race and won the season-opening Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. So the NTT IndyCar Series is underway. Last year's Indy 500 winner, Erickson earned his fourth career NTT IndyCar Series victory by almost 2.5 seconds in the number 8 Husky Chocolate Chip Ganassi Racing Honda.
That's a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah. I started to say Husky Chocolate Chip. No. Chip Ganassi Racing Honda over runner-up Pato O'Ward in the number 5 Arrow McLaren Chevrolet. Yeah. Erickson started fourth but gained the lead when O'Ward paused, exiting turn 14 on lap 97 of the 100-lap race because his engine shut off momentarily due to a brief fire in the plenum chamber of his power plant. Scott Dixon finished third in the number 9 Honda, and Alexander Rossi finished fourth in the number 7 Chevrolet. The next NTT IndyCar Series race is the PPG 375 on Sunday, April 2nd on the 1.5-mile oval at Texas Motor Speedway.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be easier for you to say he had a problem with one of the spark plugs and that caused the delay?
I wanted to be correct, Tony.
Yeah, they had 2 cars get airborne on that street course.
That was early too, wasn't it, Mike?
Michael Andretti, he had 5 cars, I think, in the field, and they were all taken out in accidents.
All of them taking them out.
Meyer Shank with Pagano and Castor Nevis was taken out, and both of those team cars were taken out in the first lap accident. And, it was a
Elio got Castro Nevis.
There was a lot of cars in the junkyard.
There sure were.
And attrition was quite high, and then the 2 leaders right there in the last 8 or 9 laps took each other out.
They did indeed.
And Erickson said, "Thank you very much. I'll just take it.
I'll just weave my way right through."
It was an interesting opening race.
It sure was.
I hope they're a little bit more careful on that oval down in Texas.
Most assuredly.
That's a tough track down there and a dangerous track at high speed. So they're going to have to be a little bit more careful than they were there in St. Petersburg.
What happens to a cactus when an Indy car hits it at 200 miles an hour? Does it go up in the air? Does it go through the cockpit?
A lot of cactus juice.
A lot of spikes in the air.
Well, according to Colorado law enforcement authorities, Memphis Grizzlies star Ja Morant will face no further legal repercussions over the incident which allegedly occurred this week in which Morant was seen brandishing a handgun in a nightclub.
On YouTube.
On YouTube, that's right. The incident was broadcast over social media and caused the Grizzlies to hold Morant out of a few games.
You just can't describe the stupidity of some of these people.
I agree, Tony.
I mean, there's basically he's a stupid individual for doing something like that.
Well, they do,
and they videotape everything. I mean, he's got no sense of common sense.
My son-in-law says it this way. He characterizes it this way: play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you got that whole deal going on down there at Alabama, and what happened with that handgun down there. You would think at all levels, whether it be college or pro, would be a little bit more careful. In brandishing their handguns and taking them out in public and so forth and so on. But it's just. I'm like Tony.
But they just don't.
You can't teach stupid. Is what
exactly. You can't fix stupid.
Then the player that provides a gun, I still think that if he was the backup guard on the team, he's probably not playing. All right, down in Alabama, but
the star,
the star there, and then they go ahead. When he gets introduced, they kind of strip search him. It's been part of his routine.
Yeah.
There's stupid people out there,
right?
And unfortunately, you got stupid people in key positions.
Yeah, and the whole focus of all of that, and back to Alabama, not to get so off track, was not on where it should have been the focus, and that was the victim.
Yeah,
sure. It was all on something else. I mean, that's kind of where we're at, and that's the tragedy in the whole thing. It should have been on the victim.
I was reading, just not to divert again, but ESPN put out a really good article about the whole situation. It's about I don't know if anyone had a chance to read it. It's about a 20-page article that went through the whole scenario, the incident and all that. So it's very interesting reading. I only got through about half of it, but, so. But I still think if he's a backup guard, he's not playing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, the University of Tennessee football announced this week that the traditional culmination of the Vols spring practice, the orange and white football game, will be held on Saturday, April 15th at 2:30 p.m. in Neyland Stadium. There will be a $5 fee for all tickets to watch the game. That's new, isn't it?
They haven't done that in a while.
No, they haven't. It's
going to cost you $5 for a ticket and $50 to park.
So
true that.
It's a heck of a deal to go to the game.
I've never heard of charging to go to a spring game.
But
have they done it before?
There's been points in times where they used to put some prices in there.
Put a price on the.
It wasn't until I don't think it became the whole free every year thing until they went for the
my
record.
lifetime.
Anyway.
Remember when they went for the record for most people at a spring game?
Yeah.
I think that was where they quit messing around with maybe you should pay, maybe you shouldn't sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, $5 if you want to go.
Yeah, they're going to play a real game.
Yeah.
Well, they've got that pedestrian bridge they're trying to raise money for. So
that's true. They are. You're right.
Are they going to sell beer?
Oh, of course.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
Well, well, if they do, doesn't matter. According to what they've said, doesn't matter how old you look, you will be carded now.
They're not going to let John Morant in though,
because apparently it's not going to be the favorite place for high school players, people to go drink. It's not going to be Neyland Stadium.
$5 to get in, $50 to park, and $10 plus for beer. So you're already up to $100, and you're not even gotten in your car yet.
So really going to the game is the best deal of them all.
It is. $5 looking good. Yeah.
Well, that's all for this week's headlines. Now let's bring the Tennessee Smokies spotlight into focus. Back to you, Gunner.
Yeah.
Well, Donnie, you left out the thing that Tennessee missed.
What's that?
What they should be doing is continue to let everybody in free, but there's $5 to get into the bathroom.
Ooh.
In quarters. $5 in quarters to get into the bathroom.
Yeah. I could say something, but I'm not going to do it.
I like that.
Paying
all right,
quarters
Gunner.
the bathroom.
Take us to the spotlight.
We're back on the Goatee Sports page here, and we're back with Coach Trail and Marcus Fitzsimmons and Donnie Moore and Carson Newman assistant football coach Tony Aruli. I want to mention before I get on with it here that on the coaches all-SEC team, San Diego Vescovi was one of 8 players. They had 8 players on the first team on their SEC, I guess, coaches squad. Second team, Zakiah Ziegler, 8 players on that squad. The AP SEC team, like the old days, Coach, 5 on the first team and 5 on the second. And I don't know whether they had a third team or not, but back in the old days, even dating back to the 70s, AP and UPI only had 5 on the first, 5 on the second, so it meant a great deal. Zakiah Ziegler made the second team, so congratulations to those players. The Lady Vols. Let's talk a little bit about the Lady Vols.
You mean Euros didn't make it?
No, he didn't make it. No, he didn't. They didn't have the all-physical team.
The all-physical team, yeah.
They left that off.
Don't make
I think
suggestions
Phillips
like that.
did.
We're gonna end up
I
with
think I
another
left.
all-mouthy team.
I think I left Phillips off. I think he made the all-defense team.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Good.
pretty sure, maybe all freshmen. I don't know.
All freshmen.
All freshmen. That's what it was. Yeah.
Lady Vols.
Lady Vols. Coach Trail. They're dancing around the Platte Head Summit statue over there. They finally got a win. The Lady Vols finally got a win over a ranked opponent. They beat LSU 69-67 in the SEC tournament. They came from 16 points behind to beat the number 3 Tigers. And then, of course, they went on to lose to South Carolina 58-74. Of course, the big part of that scoring difference came in the second half because it was pretty close at the halftime. My question, the Lady Vols finished 23-11. They've got that, they've played LSU and South Carolina, two of the best teams in the country, and they played South Carolina good for a half. They beat LSU. Are you feeling pretty good about them going into the NCAA tournament now, making a run? They made a good run in the SEC tournament.
Well, I really don't watch enough different girls' teams. There's 3 or 4 that normally play pretty good, and then the rest of them kind of up and down. And I really don't know how good the Lady Vols are. I mean, in one week you think they're doing real good, and the next week they don't show up. I don't understand them. I just
what has impressed me about them this year, and y'all can comment on it, they haven't lost any games that they weren't supposed to win. They won all the games they were supposed to win, but they lost some games that, to ranked opponents and so forth.
They had, at the beginning of the season, I don't know if you could say that because they had a very high ranking coming into the season. So December, I think they dropped a couple, I wouldn't say games they were supposed to win, but games where it was a 50-50 game against another ranked team.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think everybody's key interest this week is, are they number 4 where they get to host a pod, or are they number 5 where they're going to travel?
Well, the last one I saw was they're traveling, but maybe the win over LSU will be good enough for them to play here at home. But
I mean, if you're the NCAA, it's not like you don't know your way around Thompson Bowling Arena and then being a hosting site.
Sure. The place is going to be filled.
That's not supposed to be a factor, but again,
it is.
The reality of trying to equalize.
Have a chance to play a home game at Tennessee.
Charlie Cream, whoever Charlie Cream is, I guess he's the Lenardi of women's basketball, I guess. But he's got the Lady Vols as a number 5 seed.
We can't use his name because we've got Duncan as a sponsor. We can't use.
Yeah.
Wonder if he's crispy.
Another name was coming to my mind. I'm sorry.
He's got Tennessee traveling. He's got Tennessee as a number 5 seed playing a number 12 seed Toledo at Villanova, which means they would probably have to take on Villanova on their court in the second game. That's where they're standing right now, unless that changes. And I don't know how accurate Lenardi is or Kramer or any of these guys are compared to the committee when they get in there and start making their decisions. But that's sort of where they're at. But to me, the Lady Vols still are pretty much offensively a 2-person basketball team in Rakia Jackson, Jordan Horston, both excellent players, and that's pretty much their offense, Marcus. You can throw in the other girls game to game.
You can throw them out.
Or you can throw them out. I mean, whichever way you want to go with it. You
really
don't know. You know who's going to get that slack on the other end, but you can count on those 2 girls to give you some point production.
And I think that against LSU, I think was the first time we saw them getting the ball to players with a purpose and not just moving it around to get it to one of those 2. We saw them deliberately set up some outside opportunities and knock down some of those shots and go to running some things with a reason.
Yeah. Well, they differ from the men because you can pretty much count on those 2 players, and you've been able to count on them all year long for consistent play, and you can't say that for the men. You just don't know what you're going to get from game to game. But they're going to be in it. So we got Tennessee men and Tennessee women in the tournament. A lot of schools can't say that. So
so good.
Yeah.
Let me just say one thing. I was impressed with the women's team when they played South Carolina, how they hung in there. Probably better than just most other teams. I mean,
the first half was, it was up in the air at halftime.
Sure. But then South Carolina's talent just took over.
And South Carolina had won 36. They'd been number 137 weeks in a row.
I mean, they're playing for the perfect season.
Well, is that tall girl for South Carolina? Is she a senior? Seems like she's been playing there for 4 years.
Yeah.
Or 5 or 6. I'm not sure.
I don't
Long
know.
time.
I don't know.
Well, with the COVID, I mean, you
get that extra year.
At least
you're looking at Tennessee basketball. They could have 4 guys back next year.
And women's basketball,
if they decide to take the COVID year.
There's not as much transferring or movement between schools to schools as compared to men's teams.
Yeah.
So you don't know, you don't have that.
There's still quite a
roster
bit.
turnover as much.
I mean, you've got, I think she has 3 grad transfers this year. And that was part of the reason that some of this is a mystery, because if you look at what they scored last year on their other teams, they were all double-digit scorers. So they were expecting a little more scoring support. That's kind of why they started so high.
Yeah.
Because people were so high on what that roster statistically was going to look like.
Yeah. Well, in college basketball, we'll skip on over a couple of big names. Mike Bray at Notre Dame stepping down, and Jim Boeheim stepping down at Syracuse.
How many years is Boeheim?
Boeheim was
47.
47 years.
Almost
a
half century.
He won 1,015 games and lost 440. And with a 2-3 zone, he won the 2003 NCAA tournament champion. Never played anything but a 2-3 zone. Won a national championship in 2003, 5 Final Fours, and 10 Big East championships, 5 Big East tournament championships. Don't know that he was ready to leave or not, but the university was ready for him, I think, to leave. But Marcus, when they switched from the Big East to the ACC, I think Jimmy Boeheim didn't fare as well in the ACC as he had done in the Big East, and maybe it was a result of he was just on the downturn of his career. I don't know, but highly successful in the Big East.
My gosh, if you coached in one place for 45 years, you need a break.
Yeah, you would think.
Very successful. And he'll be missed. And,
he won't be missed because he said he wasn't leaving.
The first question was, how long until you play something besides a 2-3 zone on defense? First question out of the gate to the new coach. And I bet he's been asked 50 times in the last 48 hours about it.
Yeah.
But, that just shows he left a mark. He made a mark. But, no, his ACC record is not reflective of his entire tenure.
Right.
And some of that is there were a lot of gimme wins in the Big East that you didn't get in the ACC.
Right.
He came along at a very high point in the ACC for the most part.
Yeah. And listen, his NCAA record, 48-28. That's pretty successful in NCAA tournament play.
Right.
And his NIT was 13-8. Mike Bray, on the other hand, the winningest coach in Notre Dame history, and he was there 23 years, 582 and 329. But he never won, never reached the Final Four. He did all the things right at Notre Dame. He fit their mold up there. He won a lot of basketball games. Took over. I think there was another coach there, Doherty, maybe between him and Digger Phelps.
Right.
But he had one rule for his players: go to class and don't turn the ball over, and we'll get along fine. I thought that was pretty interesting.
That's pretty good.
What was Notre Dame's record this year?
Yeah.
What was their record like?
They were below 500 this year.
Below 500.
Yeah. So a couple of coaches that's going to be really missed in the college ranks. So Donnie's over here. He's ready to go, Donnie?
Cracking.
You're jumping up and down. Are we at the end of the
It's
rope
time
here?
for break, yeah.
My gosh, we're at the end of the rope. Okay, we'll take a break here, and we'll be back with the shelter insurance segment. You're listening to the sports page, Goatee Sports page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
The Bluetick Tavern is home to the tastiest pizza in Blount County. Try our signature Broadway barbecue pizza, grilled chicken, and red onions covered in mounds of mozzarella. Or sink your teeth into our one-of-a-kind chicken and bacon pizza. Made with an olive oil base, grilled chicken, bacon, red onions, and covered in Brussels petals. The Blue Tick Tavern also has salads, sandwiches, and the area's largest beer selection. Regularly recognized as the best pizza in Blount County, it's the Blue Tick Tavern, located at 128 West Broadway in downtown Maryville. Waters Equipment is your East Tennessee New Holland agriculture and construction dealer. Waters Equipment has been serving Blount County for 48 years and has 2 locations in Maryville for sales and service for New Holland equipment. Offering shop and field service for trucks and equipment of all brands, Waters offers equipment rentals for New Holland skid steer, Mini X, and tractors. Call 238-9000 for your rental needs. That's 238-9000. Waters Equipment New Holland, excellence in service. For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices. Stevenson Tire Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at StevensonTire.net.
Your newspaper? That's right. The Daily Times is your newspaper, tailored to where you live, emphasizing the things that affect you and keeping track of the people and players in our community. The award-winning Daily Times can be delivered each morning right to your door or inbox with the latest in local news and sports. For a 30-day free trial offer, call 981-1100 and begin enjoying your life, your times, every day with the Daily Times.
Dunkin' has what you need to conquer the day. So if you want to go from, I don't got this, to, I got this, well, then get this. A bold, smooth espresso drink from Dunkin'. Like a layered velvety caramel macchiato, a rich chocolatey mocha latte, or a creamy non-dairy oat milk latte. Because this day isn't going to conquer itself. No, you're going to do that. Take a sip of You Got This with Dunkin' Espresso drinks. Order ahead on the app plus earn rewards. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary.
The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget and make you comfortable. Their motto still stands true today: call us first, we'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month.
We're back on the Goatee Sports page. This is the Greenfield Gunner, Mike Edwards, and we're happy to have Clayton Bradley Academy basketball on this morning. Coach Jeffers is here, along with players Ian Bugani and Caleb Kimsey and Luke Mancuso. I hope I'm in the ballpark on those names. But we want to congratulate you on an outstanding season, and we're most thrilled to have you here on the show. So, Coach Jeffers, let's talk a little bit about this basketball team. You finished the year 15-10, best record in school history so far. You got some exciting things you're going to be looking forward to down there, and we're going to talk about that. But talk a little bit about this basketball team and now what it meant to you and the rest of the coaching staff.
Absolutely. Well, as you already pointed out, we had the most wins in program history this year, which is really a testament to the work that these guys have put in over the years. We got a couple seniors here with us. This is largest senior graduating class that we've had in program history. Had 4 girls graduate, and all the work they've put in over the years to really build this program to what it is now is just a fantastic testament to them and everything they're doing. Got a great group of young guys coming up that have made this season a lot of fun, and looking forward to the next couple of years with them as well.
Talk about the best win. As you look back on, as coaches, you always look at the big wins after it's all over with, and the wins that weren't so great, and everything in between there, kind of gets filtered out. But big wins and big losses. But let's talk about big wins for this basketball team this year.
Looking back, probably the biggest win, beginning of the season we played Apostolic Christian Academy out of Maryville. They beat us by a point on a last-second shot. Tough loss, and we turned back around, played them a few weeks later, and beat them pretty handily. So that was a big win for us. First time we beat them in program history.
There's always a game, you look back on a season, there's always a game at the end there that kind of turned things around. Did you guys have a game this year that kind of turned your season in the right direction?
I don't know if I could point out one specific game that really turned things around or anything like that, but I think, there was a point midway through the season that our guys really came together as a unit. We preach being your brother's keeper and being one family all year long, and there was a point there mid-season that I really feel like that came to fruition, and they really had each other's back, and that's kind of what propelled us the rest of the season.
Yeah. We're going to talk about you guys going into the TSSAA division there here in a few minutes, but for all of our listeners that aren't familiar with the league that you play in, fill us in.
This past year we're still independent. We weren't a part of a specific league or group at the high school level. We didn't really have a postseason tournament or anything like that this year. This year was mostly prepping to go TSSAA next year, so that's what we're moving toward.
I see. TSSAA, how did the decision come about to enter that? It's a big decision, and they've got a lot of rules and stipulations that maybe you haven't had to follow in the past. How did that all come about, and what was the reasoning behind it, and how do you feel about it going into the
as we move forward as a school and as a basketball program, that just seemed to be the next step. That those types of decisions happen, at the next level above me, so I wasn't in on all the conversations, but I can tell you that as a school, we're taking the next step forward in everything that we do, looking for better competition. We played the strongest strength of schedule that we've ever had this year, and moving into next year, we're looking to take that next step.
Let's talk to a few of these players. Ian, you put some points up on the board last year. I think 148 points. What are your memories of the season individually? I know everybody wants to win games as a team, but what did you get out of it individually?
I think, this year was really big for me because I was trying to, go play college basketball early on, trying to get a lot of offers. So for me, it was just about going out there and honestly, win or loss, trying to go out there and prove that we as a team can go out there and compete and play with the best of the best. Like, honestly, when I'm out there, I'm not worried about my points. The college stuff, we have on the side. I trust my coaches to take care of me 100% whenever I'm going to play at the next level for collegiate basketball, if I want to. So whenever I'm out there, if we're playing a TSSAA school, it's about proving that we belong in the TSSAA next year. And if we're not playing a TSSAA school, if we're playing an independent school, it's proving that we can beat you and go into a TSSAA.
Yeah.
For me, it's not, about the points.
Caleb, talk a little bit about the team's style of play. Everybody's interested in that. We've talked a lot about style of play as far as the SEC tournament goes this year and the way Tennessee has played this year and other schools. What's the style of play there in your program?
One of the things that we definitely take pride in is how scrappy we are as a team. I feel like we definitely bring out the worst in other teams, just making them angry, going for every loose ball, hustling. I've talked to a lot of parents who say that they don't think they are able to watch the game without somebody being on the ground every 10 seconds. So I think that says a lot about who we are. We hustle a lot. We make other teams angry just because of how much we hustle, and we really take pride in that and take advantage of it.
Caleb, what about your shining moment? What particular game or what particular play was your shining moment as far as the season?
I think that my shining moment was just being out there with my team and, like, every time I was on the court just trying to help them win and just sticking together as a team. I can't really point out, like, a moment in myself that I was shining because I just focused on the team.
Yep. Coach, let's get back to the TSSAA a little bit here. that's going to go through classification, league. Do you have any knowledge of where you're going to fall in that category?
Yes. So being private, we'll be Division II, Class Single A. We'll be in the East Region, District 1. So it's a region made up a total of 10 teams, one of the largest in the state as far as size of the district. There's a lot of good competition in that district, but it's a district that we feel that we can compete in, that we can make some noise in here in the near future, and we're very excited to join that.
Are you going to have to do any traveling, in this division?
So there's a couple of schools that'll be slightly out of our way that we'll go back and forth traveling with. Outside of that, most of them will be in the Knoxville, Blount County regions.
Let's see, Ian. I've got you as a senior. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Senior, and Caleb, senior. Both you guys are seniors. What's your plans?
I'll let him go first. He's got better plans.
I, coming up this summer, am going to University of Tennessee, Knoxville to study engineering. I don't exactly know what type yet, but I'm looking into industrial and systems engineering. But I'm really just going there to watch sports.
Yeah. Well, you probably pick up a basketball here and there, won't you? Huh?
I'd say so.
Probably
maybe some intramurals here and there.
Go to a few games and that type of thing.
Oh yeah. I feel like you can't go there without going to at least one game.
Yeah. Luke, you're coming back, right?
Yeah, I'm a sophomore.
Yeah, you're a sophomore, and you're just getting started.
Yeah,
so you're going to get a full dose of this TSSAA for the next 3 years. Are you excited about that?
Yeah, I'm really excited because I want to be more of a leader next year for this team. I think that our team can do really good stuff in TSSAA.
Yeah. And your plans in the off season, individual work? You play any AAU ball or?
Yeah, I'm playing for a AAU team over in Knoxville, and I plan on putting a lot of individual work in with my coaches. I trust my coaches will take care of us.
Now, Coach, is the move just for basketball, or is it all sports that Clayton Bradley are moving over?
So, to my knowledge, it's all sports that Clayton Bradley will be moving over. So we have, volleyball and cross country, tennis, soccer. So all those sports will be moving over to TSSAA as well.
So for basketball, you're going to, if I'm right, you'll be in the region with Kings Academy. Is that the same?
Yes, that is correct. Yep, they'll be in our district.
So it seems like that one was expanding. It's you and somebody else is coming in new to expand it to 10, because I think it's 8 right now. If that sounds right, but
I believe that is correct. Apostolic Maryville.
But it's a very competitive Division I district you're coming into.
Yep, absolutely.
How many players you got coming back next year?
I believe we will have 17 total, like plus or minus 2.
You be playing a varsity JV schedule, freshman schedule, just
yes. So this was our first year with a JV team in school history. We had enough kids to field JV and varsity, and we plan to continue that next year to have both.
And talk a little bit about your off-season programs.
So, we try to get in the gym as much as possible, work on weight training, work on, individual work like Luke was talking about. We get in the gym, work on drills, and just have these guys as ready as possible when October, November rolls around, we're able to start practicing again.
Great. And Coach Mubarak wasn't able to be here, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Because he's sick. Well,
feeling a little under the weather.
Give him our regards, and we'll look forward to having you all on down the road as you progress with your season. I know this is very exciting to you, and it's great to have you all on here this morning.
We always appreciate the invite.
Yeah. Donnie Moore, is it time to get out of here? Blow the whistle. All right. That'll do it for today's edition of the Goatee Sports Page. Thanks to Aaron Ishmael at Loud Media, our host, the Blue Tick Tavern, and all our sponsors. For Donnie Moore, Coach Ray Trail, Marcus Fitzsimmons, Troy Provo-Heron, and Brian Johnston at Goatees. Until next Saturday, this is Mike Edwards, the Greenfield Gunner, wishing everyone good sports. All right.